Hi everyone, I am Chloe Hartung. I teach at Penn Manor High School. I'm an earth science teacher at all levels, and my current program is assessment curriculum and teaching with a focus on STEM. So the purpose of my action research project was to assess the effectiveness of virtual labs because I wanted to use them to replace some outdated lessons like lecturing and having students read from the textbook and stuff like that. A lot of the lessons that I have in my earth science curriculum need modernization. The lessons need some updating and some modern touches. So that is another reason that I wanted to do this. We are currently in the market for some virtual lab software, and we had a 2-month Gizmo subscription. So I thought it would be a good idea to use that to collect some data so that I could pass along the information that I learned to my colleagues. So the research question that I asked was, how does the use of virtual labs impact students' understanding of plate tectonics and the geological features created as a result of them? The background information that I used was taking a look at other people that have used virtual labs in different ways. These first two up here applied typical structures that would be used during a physical lab to their virtual lab activities. So having students create arguments from evidence using their data and having students work together synchronously and with discussions, just using those same procedures you would use during a regular virtual lab. The 3 other resources that I used are down at the bottom. The one which is on anatomy education, they used that, a virtual lab anatomy themed virtual lab to replace a outdated lesson, which was lecturing. And here the soil organic matter processes in the classroom, that one was used because the regular physical lab for soil organic matter processes was too timely and they couldn't fit it into their curriculum at all. So this enabled them to add in that content. So the procedure that I used, first I had students complete a pre-test on plate tectonics. I went through my unit as I usually do on plate tectonics, but I replaced 3 outdated lessons with virtual lab assignments. 2 of them were using the Gizmo software, and a third one is the one that I designed myself. And after the completion of that unit, students completed a post-test on plate tectonics. The data that I collected was their individual assignment scores on the virtual lab handouts, which asked conclusion questions and analysis questions and had students record data as they went through the virtual lab. So I graded those and included that data. And I also compared their pre-test and post-test scores before and after completing the unit. And I compared those scores to my students who went through the same unit with the outdated lessons in spring of 2019. I didn't use spring of 2020 data because at that time during my plate tectonics unit, all of our assignments were optional because school was shut down due to COVID-19. So these are my general findings when comparing 2019 data to 2021 data. You can see in blue are the pre-test scores and in red is the post-test scores. And 25 out of my 26 students in my course right now, they met their growth expectations, and their average scores on the individual virtual labs for all 3 of them, all 3 of those average scores were above 90%. And students also showed me evidence of addressing common misconceptions that they had before completing the virtual labs, such as me asking them prior knowledge questions before starting a lab and then realizing their mistakes and fixing those answers after completion of the lab. And also the most commonly incorrect question in spring of 2021, they showed that I think only 2 students actually got that question wrong on the post-test, which was the most commonly incorrectly answered question on the pre-test. So they also showed growth in that area as well. So from this project, I definitely learned more about the action research process. I feel like it's a lot less intimidating than it was before. And I also definitely learned the benefits of including additional inquiry activities in my curriculum. And it shows that those older, outdated lessons can be replaced with newer lessons that are beneficial to students. I'm definitely more confident in collecting and analyzing data than I was before. I've always been really confident at trying new things in my classroom and seeing if they work or not, but this really forced me to measure and compare how well those new lessons are actually doing. So instead of just trying something and seeing if it works, seeing if the kids like it or not, this was really beneficial because it helped me kind of slow down a little bit and really focus on, do the numbers match up with how the students feel about this lesson or how I feel they did during that lesson. This project will inform my school. This is going to provide me some evidence in favor of virtual labs for sure. And I also think it might help possibly with our possible investment in Gizmo software, or if we decide to analyze the benefits of another software, someone or myself could use the same exact process to analyze those benefits and see if it really is helpful or if we should benefit by choosing one or the other.